Sam gang, Sharde here. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time in my little internet space, my name is Sharde and I am a travel and wellness blogger. I talk about how to travel smarter, pack lighter, and search deeper within yourself. So if this is your first time, or you keep coming back but you're not yet part of my internet family, come on. What are we waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you know when I post every week. And I do post every week. Today we have another tech gear talk review situation. I wanted to give a sort of a long-term review of the Canon 77D, which has been my main vlogging camera for a year. It's been a year. Yeah, it's been a year, and I have absolutely loved this camera. Like, it is such a good camera. I'm not going to do too much as far as specs because you could easily look those up, but I wanted to give you sort of a more practical review on why I chose this camera, what I like about the camera. But I will leave a link in the description box for probably B&H or Adorama or one of those websites that sort of give you a rundown of just like the on paper specs of the camera. If you all do not know, I updated my camera system last year from the Canon T3i to this camera, the 77D. I will leave the link up here for my first impressions unboxing of this camera. And I chose it really carefully because there are 3 cameras in the sort of EOS APS-C crop sensor lineup that are vlogging cameras that a lot of bloggers use, and that's, well, the 70D and 80D. And the 77D falls smack in the middle of those two, so it has a few more features than the 70D, but it's not as big and quite as capable as the 80D. Now, for me, what I was looking for in a vlogging camera was something that would travel particularly. So I wanted something that would function as my sit-down big vlogging camera setup, but also that I could take with me on trips to vlog and to take really nice pictures with. This camera from the T3i loads lighter. It is super light. I think it's only 390 some odd grams, like 1.2 pounds. I'll put that somewhere right here. So it's much lighter than the T3i and the 80D. The 80D is monstrous. It is so big. And so this camera is has a bit of a smaller form factor, but also it is lighter, which is super important to me as a budget traveler and a sort of minimal traveler. I need as much space as possible in my bags. And the 77D is a camera that theoretically I can throw, not literally throw, but throw in my bag and just keep pushing and be able to make high quality content. In comparison to T3i quality that I had, this is so much better, and it's mostly because of the autofocus. This has the face following autofocus, so like if I move, the camera follows my face, and if I get closer, you know, it focuses really quickly. And that's super important for when I am doing hauls and things like that, and I'm putting something in front of the camera like this. It's going to focus on it and then focus back on my face, and it's not going to take a long time, or I don't have to like manually focus as I am vlogging. So that was super important to me. Now, the other thing is 77D does have the fully articulating screen, so it does flip out and around, which is great. The camera has the microphone jack, which is also good. It does not have a headphone jack. Does not have that. It does not have 4K. It does 1080p at, I believe, 60 frames per second. So, but I do also think this camera does have a time-lapse feature, which I've never used. So maybe I'll challenge myself this year and use this as use the time-lapse feature. But it also has built-in Wi-Fi, which has come in so clutch, y'all, so clutch. And I'll tell you why. It's because, one, I can connect my camera to my cell phone via the Canon app which is in, you know, the iTunes, or not the iTunes store, the App Store, but also the Google Play Store. So I'm able to do that, and I can use it to directly download videos and pictures that I've taken onto the cell phone, and I can use what is it called? I can use Lightroom and like edit right then and there, post it to Instagram. But also I can use my cell phone as a shutter button. That means I can take pictures far away, like set up my camera on a tripod, take pictures, and load it from the camera. Now, this has gotten a little hairy because I have had to, you know, put the timer on the camera, set the timer, hit the button, throw the cell phone, pose. And, you know, that happens, and it's been okay. I never broke my camera from doing that. But like I said, it has a lot of really good features. I do think this camera is great for beginners because you literally could put it on the auto mode and go, and you're gonna get good footage, good autofocus. The picture is going to be really good for that. Now, as far as lenses and things like that, I do not use the kit lens at all. But you can buy the 70-70 with the kit lens for somewhere in the ballpark of $700 still. I use the Canon 24mm 2.8 STM lens. That's my main vlogging lens because, and I will tell you why. I love that focal length. One, it's a pancake lens, so it's literally about, you know, that wide. So about that wide. It makes the setup even smaller. So good. But it also gives a little bit of depth of field back off in this area when I'm sitting down. So I literally can sit down and you can get me heads and shoulders. So it's really good as far as getting a little bit of a wider field of view when I'm sitting down. Now, if I should happen to go out with my camera and I'm vlogging, like have it on my tripod, selfie thingy, monopod, whatever you want to call it. If I have it on that, I can't quite use the 22mm because with the crop on the 70-70 1.6 crop, because it's a crop sensor camera, it's like 38mm. So it's not very good for holding out in front of you vlogging. Also, I have really short arms. Like I have T-Rex arms.
But look at my little arm! So
even more so, that doesn't work for me. However, if you get one of these, which is the Canon 10-18, this little guy is great for vlogging because it's going to give you an even wider field of view, and you'll be able to do outdoor walking vlogs, travel vlogs, however, you see how big this guy is. This is gonna make your setup bigger, not necessarily heavier. I mean, it's bulky but not super heavy because it's mostly made of plastic, but it's a wider lens. And you could get one of these for, I guess, $150, not too much extra. But this is an STM lens as well, has in-body stabilization. The camera itself has 5-axis stabilization, which is fantastic for vlogging as well. But like I said, I usually use it at the house, so it stays on a tripod. There's not much that I don't care for with this camera, and I'm saying that because I'm a pretty casual vlogger. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to make my life out of vlogging. I also am a photographer, but I have a full frame camera that I use for photography. So the 70-70 serves as my secondary camera, and it takes fantastic pictures. The portraits I've taken on this camera are just beautiful, and I'll stick one up on the screen. But I think if you're getting into photography, if you want to take really nice Instagram photos, this camera does really well. You also cannot look at the audio levels with this, which has become a little bit of a challenge when I plug in my microphone, because there have been times where I plugged in my mic, started vlogging, stopped, and found that I have no sound. So that kind of sucks. But I think as far as dynamic range, it does pretty well. Not quite as well as the 80D, not quite as well as a full frame because it's in a smaller form factor, but it's going to be a solid choice for a budget camera to me that's going to step up your production quality. It's going to allow you to do some really nifty things. You'll be able to learn the camera and play with, you know, the autofocus, which you can touch point on the screen and do it that way, but you can also set your settings. You can learn how to set your settings. 77D, solid choice for me. Like, it's a thumbs up. It's a winner in my opinion if you're trying to get into DSLRs and want to step up your YouTube game. You could also go with the 70D, which is cheaper now because the 80D's been out for a while. If you're not going to be travel vlogging, you're going to be doing a lot of sit down vlogs, you may want to look at getting the 80D because it is solid. It's a stellar choice, but it's still like $900. So this camera is about $200 cheaper with a kit lens. You could throw the kit lens on, do just fine, set it up, have at. Or you can pay another, I think I paid like $125 used for my 24mm, and that works for me. If you're going to be doing beauty vlogs, get the nifty 50. You can get it for $100 brand new, or you can get it for 80 like I did used, and you can make a kit that works for you. And that's all I really wanted to say with this. As always, make a kit that works for you, that fits within your budget, and grow over time. You don't have to do it all at once, because the best gear really is the gear that you have. Whatever you have, that works. So if you wanted to be an iPhone and that's what you have, you can easily get a tripod that has a cell phone attachment and make it happen. Get you a cheap $20 lavalier bike, stick it on you, and you can make YouTube videos, period. I hope you found that helpful. As I said, I'll put the link down below so you can get the specs on the 77D and kind of look at other in-depth reviews on like specs and features and things like that. But for me, as a vlogger talking to people who want to vlog, 77D is a winner for me. As always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend about the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.